And this is the Situation Room. Welcome to another exciting edition. Remember, this is the Election Bureau, bringing you everything for the 2024 elections with the hashtag Ghana Polls 2024. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. Thank you so much for joining us for another exciting edition. Because this time around, we're looking at the Western region. When I come back, I'll tell you the significance of this region and all you need to know. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
It's time for the beauty, fashion, and wellness industry's most prestigious events of the year. After 7 sensational editions, we're back with the 8th annual Africa Makeup and Beauty Fair and the Ghana Beauty Awards. It's the Synergy edition. Join us as we celebrate the artistry, creativity, and innovation that define the world of beauty, fashion, and wellness. From the latest trends to 37 prestigious awards up for grabs, from exhibitions to beauty and fashion shows, and to huge discounts on all your favorite beauty products, this year's event promises to inspire and ignite sustainable collaborations for economic growth and development. Don't miss out on the glamour, excitement, and unforgettable moments at the Synergy edition of the annual Africa Makeup and Beauty Fair and the Ghana Beauty Awards. The AMB Fair comes off on the 8th and 9th of November at the Adisa Pavilion, Labadi Beach Hotel. Time is 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. each day. And the Ghana Beauty Awards is on the 10th of November at the Omanyi Hall, Labadi Beach Hotel. Time is 6:30 p.m. Our sponsors are
It is the Situation Room. Welcome back. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. Our focus today is the Western region, looking at the presidential trends and later looking at the parliamentary trends as well. I have with me in the studio Bernard Avle. He's good with the analysis and numbers, so he's going to do just that. Give us everything we need to know. Bernard, we're doing Western region today.
Please.
But
yes,
what's
please.
the significance of Western region?
You know, last week we focused on the Greater Accra region and then the Central region. And we said there are 4 swing regions. The Western, Central, and BA are swing regions that flip every 8 years. Unlike the Greater Accra, which flips 8, but sometimes 4.
Yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2, this region is the most resource-rich region in the country. Cocoa. They overtook the Ashanti region for cocoa sometime in the 90s.
Yeah.
Then we have gold, so mining. Then we have timber.
Yeah.
Then we have oil. So if you take Western region out of Ghana, a lot of our top 3 foreign exchange earners, you're an economic reporter, you know this. So it's a very important region. Now, the reason why I'm giving you the old Ghana is to show you the importance of the region together, because a lot of the resources we have are in the 2 regions, Western and Western North.
Western North,
so maybe we can remind viewers of how the region used to behave
before the split happened.
And then when we split it, you'll see the difference between the 2. So you notice that in the 10 region scenario, in 2012, don't forget, deep blue MPP over 60, light blue MPP between 50 and 60, deep green NDC over 60, light green NDC between 50 and 60. So you can tell quickly that in 2012, Western was one of the regions NDC won, but not as seriously as they did Volta, Upper East and Upper West. Yeah. So it's very similar to Greater Accra and Central. Now, what happened in 2016, if you use the old map, was that MPP took over the whole southern part of Ghana.
Wow.
So it became a light blue. So MPP won it by a bit between 50 and 60%. Yeah. Now, the key point to Western is that it is one of the 4 swing that did not go back to NDC. Okay. So in 2020, when Greater Accra went back to NDC, B still remained.
We're still with the MPP.
So that's the first major point to note. So its behavior and Central are quite similar. And later on, I'll join the 2 to show you. Now, the other point is that when you pick the region as it was old, so I'm going back to 2012, all right? So this is the 2012 scenario where it gave NDC the advantage. When you pick the region on its own like this, what do you see?
I see deep green here, strong NDC, a bit of light, and a few,
good,
light MPP, and a pretty strong one here.
Yes.
That's the Takrady, right?
Yes. So what we are seeing, I don't know what you've done, but what we are seeing here is basically a good thing. We are separating Western North from Western region based on the size and the color of the map that you did. Maybe I need to refresh this and come back to you.
Back, yeah.
So when you go back to the Western region, listen,
yeah,
good.
Great.
So you've been very right. Western North has 9 constituencies and Western has 17. So if you put them together, that's about 23. You notice quickly that all the Western North parts in 2012 were strong NDC. Then there's a sort of transition before you get to Takrady. And when you get to Takrady, it becomes MPP. So in the old region, the reason it was swing was that MPP used to give a lot of votes to get a lot of votes from here, and this used to get a lot of votes from here. And then these guys used to shift.
Depending.
Right. So this was, and if you look at this from the lens of 3 elections, still green, but not as deep.
Yeah.
This is now deeper blue. There's a transition zone. Okay. So the further up you go in the region, the stronger NDC is. And the further south you come towards Takrady, the stronger MPP is. And then in 2020, when things leveled up a bit, again, MPP maintains their strength, but some inroads have been made in the Western North, and the middle portion is still NDC. So this is the situation with the old Western region.
Okay.
Western North is predominantly NDC. Western can split depending on where you are. So what we need to do now is to take you back to the new Western region to see if there are any differences within
compared
this part.
To this one.
Because in this one it's very clear. From here you can see that clearly this is 2 regions.
Very green. Okay, so let's go to the proper split now. Western region sitting.
So by magic, I can generate 16 regions. But Akufo-Addo used a constitutional instrument and a whole referendum to do it. I can just click and create a region. So I've created. So I've created how many? So as you notice, and just for clarity's sake, when you have 10, this is Bono. But when you have 16, you have Bono Ahafo, Bono East, Volta Oti, Savannah Northern, Northeast, and then you have Western North and Western. So the Western now, let's see if there are any things to show.
Okay.
This is 2012 as well. I don't know if anything is clear from here.
Okay, take us through.
So
we see what we can see a lot of the NDC here as well, but there are light blues as well.
So let's run through the 3 electoral sites, and I'm going to break the region to 4.
Okay.
And then you tell me if you agree.
Covering this 4, how are you segmenting it? How did you come up with this 4?
Okay. So I'm coming to derive
the president today. You're doing all.
I'm coming to derive 4 voting zones.
Okay.
Based on the 3 election cycles. Okay. So I'm coming to derive it. We'll derive it together. So look at this very carefully. Still blue, light green, 1 deep green, and there's some blue here. Now see what's going to happen in 2016. Don't forget, this is MPP's best year. Okay. This blue has gotten deeper. There's still a lot of green in here. And then there's 1 blue here. This blue has been maintained. So there are 2 blues outside the blue center. All right. Now, 2020, what happens? And this is all presidential, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, NDC has taken this.
That blue that we saw.
This blue was here in 2012, 2016. It's now green. But somehow, this has maintained its blue status. So what has not changed is that this enclave is MPP.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I'm going to do. I think that based on studying the results, Vivian, the Western region has 4 component parts. The new Western region. Okay. It has 4 component parts.
So what are these component parts?
So I called the first one the Sekendi Takrady Metropolis.
So the metropolis.
So Sekendi Takrady and the places close to it.
Okay.
So that's one.
So you're seeing the likes of Takrady proper.
Takrady.
Kwesimintim.
Yes.
Ifia.
Yes.
And then there's supposed to be 1 more.
Esikado Ketan.
But
that's not all.
Jogatis.
Yes.
So that's
you've mentioned the core 4, but there's more.
All right.
There's more. So you mentioned Takoradi, which is the deep blue. That's the center. That's the capital of the region. Then Sekondi is to the right.
Yeah.
Right. Then we have Efia and Kwesi-Mintin together. Then you have Mpoho and Shama.
Mpoho and Shama. That's it.
Then you have Ahanta West.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So let's go through this again. So that cluster has 8 constituencies.
8 constituencies.
Takoradi is the first one. I have Shama here. Sekondi is close by. Kwesi-Mintin is next to that. Just me a minute. I have Ahanta West as well. I have Esikado Kitan. I have Mpoho and then Efia. Yeah. Now, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I call these ones the Sekondi Takoradi cluster. Okay. There are 8. Right. Then I have the.
So this is your first group.
This is the first group we'll look at.
Our second group.
The second group I will call the CPP stronghold, the Nzima CPP.
Okay.
That was. So let me put it this way. CPP's Nkrumah, Kwame Nkrumah was from, of course, Nkrofo,
yeah.
Which is in Jomoro. But from Jomoro, Elembele, and Evalu, Ajira, those 3 constituencies are heavily in Zimas. And these were the traditional CPP seats that when CPP diminished, almost all fell to NDC, except Elembele, where Kofi,
Freddie Blade
went to MPP. Kofi. So the mindset of that area, the Anzimas, this is where CPP is strong, and this is where NDC initially made inroads that MPP is fighting to come back. So there are 3. Okay. There's Jomoro, all right, where Nkrumah's daughter Samia
stood.
Then there's Elembele, where Freddie Blade, who used to be the Elembele Mugabe, was overtaken by Ama Kofi Boa. Then there's Evalu Ajomoro Jira. Katrina Feku's name comes up. So these 3, you can say, and don't forget, when you go to Takoradi, they are mostly Ahantes. These are Nzimas. So that's why I have Ahanta West in this cluster. Okay. So there's Ahanta West, Mpoho, Kwesi-Mintin, Efia, Shama, Sekondi, Takoradi, and Esikado Ketan as the second
cluster.
Then there's the Amenfi cluster.
Okay. Amenfi is now in the news a lot.
That's Amenfi Central.
Yes.
Amenfi cluster because there are one group of people. Mining takes place there, but it's not as strong as my last cluster. Okay. So I call them the Amenfi cluster. It's simple. Amenfi West, Amenfi Central, and they call it Wassa Amenfi East. Yeah. Because this is Wassa and Amenfi together. Wassa Amenfi East. So these are the Amenfi. This is the third cluster. Okay. Then the last group is what I call the big mining block.
Okay, these are into serious mining.
The big mining block because you have Takwa, you have Prestia, and you have Wassa East. Yeah. Makes sense?
Yeah. And this is very interesting. I like your blocks.
So can we take it?
So let's start with.
I should unravel the map.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to unravel the map and fill it up.
Leave the Takoradi cluster.
All right.
To start with.
The Takoradi cluster, I think, is where MPP has been strong historically. Some of MPP's strong figures, Papa Usu Ankoma, very respected,
prominent
member of the MPP, Ghana's ambassador to UK, was he had a very interesting contest with a man called Bosontwi Sam. Bosontwi Sam used to be NDC's strongest person in that area. Papa Usu Ankoma. This is why when Kufuor came to power, he gave Papa Usu Ankoma a very big position. He's a strong MPP person. So Takoradi is the center. Now looking at this 8, let's just run through the 3 electoral cycles to see how
they behaved.
Yes, just this 8. So look at what happens to them in 2016. Look at that.
Wow, this is blue.
Look at that. It's blue, but mind you, only Shama was NDC of that 8. Yeah. And in 2016, all of them are MPP. And only 2 are between 50 and 60. 6 of the 8 are strongholds. 6 of the 8.
Which is huge.
So it tells you that when they go MPP, they go hard. So with the exception of Mpoho and Shama, the rest are all
strong MPP.
In 2016. 2020, you can see NDC clawed back a bit, but not so much. Because look at that. All they did was to reduce the intensity of the blue for these 2. But everybody else is die in the wood MPP. All right. Now, what are the issues in this constituency? So, Sekondi, as I said, there are historical reasons. All right. Sekondi and Takoradi used to be one area. The MPP's strength, apart from Ashanti and then parts of Eastern, MPP's third major block, apart from the Dombo side, has been Takoradi.
Yeah.
All right. So Takoradi inherently, because don't forget, there are lots of people in Takoradi who migrated from the Ashanti region as well. So some of the strong business people from in Takoradi have Ashanti roots. And Takoradi has been a port town. So port towns, historically, in Nkrumah's time, the strongest opposition to government has been from the mining and the port workers. All right. So you notice that places where there are ports, Tema, and places like Takoradi, because in those days there weren't a lot of jobs, mining workers and railway workers were very powerful because they were unionized and they could take on the government. So the mindset of the typical Takoradi person was not necessarily from Nkrumah. So opposition to Nkrumah was around port worker organization, the railways in particular. Now the railway links the port to the mines. So the railways became the center. So Nkrumah actually tried to decimate them. So the typical railway worker in Takoradi will not like CPP.
Will not like this.
Necessarily. You follow the logic? Of course, MPP being the UP tradition then made inroads there. So I think that's some of the historical reasons. And then the migration issues as well. And then some of the strong figures as well. Now, Second D, Takoradi used to be one. So Papa Usman was MP for Second D. All right, Gladys Asma.
Gladys Asma.
Gladys Asma and Akufo, one of Kufuor's most trusted assistants. Some of MPP's bigwigs have been from that region. As I speak to you, Takoradi is the only of the 8 that gives MPP over 60 in all 3 election cycles. Let's examine that. So let me just click on Takoradi. Takoradi has remained deeply blue. In 2012, only Takoradi. 2016, Takoradi. 2020, Takoradi. So even though there are lots of discussions around Takoradi, the current MP, the regional minister, I think MPP is strong in Takoradi. It's going to be difficult for the MPP candidate not to win.
MPP is still going to get it.
It's a traditional stronghold of MPP. So
but their numbers may reduce based on the issues.
I think that's a good point if we look at parliamentary issues. But I think from what we've learned, people will vote for the presidential candidate of the party they traditionally like. They may vote against. So let me give you an example. In Esikado, in 2020, Jogate won that seat by less than 2,000 votes.
Very narrowly,
But MPP won it very well presidential.
Very well,
So the people's default state is MPP. But Grace Ayensu Dankwa had come. She had done some work. They were a bit tired of Jogate. So you can notice that the parliamentary race was much closer.
Yes, very close.
That tells you that the people of that Esikado Kitana MPP voters generally more than NDC. But so Takoradi is the first one to watch. Then there's Andrew Ejapa Mensah. So if you look at even this government, again the appointments tell you the importance of the constituency. So look at Second D. The lawyer Ejapa Mensah is the MP for Second D. He's been maintained throughout the second term as a minister, first term deputy minister. A strong traditional place where MPP does not want to lose. All right. Then there's Efia and Kwesi Minting. Now Efia minister used to be the deputy. In fact, he was the deputy minister for energy. All right. And then he was in charge of the finance part of the energy component, and then became minister for public sector work. But he lost his primaries. All right, but that's Efia. Kwesi Mintim, as I speak to you, the deputy minister for works, who used to be the head of NACA. Right. So you see that the even appointments tell you that they take that enclave seriously. Okay. So then there's Ahanta West, where the minister for chieftaincy, Kojokum, who then fell ill. And even though he was unwell, he was maintained. So Ahanta West, minister for chieftaincy. So you see that even from the way the president appoints people, he values this enclave. And they've shown loyalty to the MPP.
They've shown loyalty and he's rewarded them.
In fact, as I said, in 2016, only 2 of them didn't give MPP. This was Mpoho and then Shama, which NDC had won before. Then in 2020, all that happened was that NDC managed to reduce Takwas. I added Takwas, but Takwas is not supposed to be part. Takwas is different.
The mining side,
So this is where MPP would, of the 17, this is where MPP typically gets its numbers from.
Okay.
This particular enclave of 8. Now, the second group, let's go to 2012. I call it the Nzima
trio.
The Nzima triad. All right. So this is Jomoro. Over the 3 election cycles, MPP for some reason has managed to win presidential in 2016 and maintain that in 2020. NDC is quite concerned about that. But for these two, NDC has kept them. So 2016, NPP's best year.
Yeah.
This is Amakofibua. Now, I analyze some of these vote results on the basis of strong people. All right. NDC's strong man in the West is the MP for Elembele, Amakofibua.
Yeah.
And some of his strength spills over even into Evaluagira. 2020, where NDC, and when we go to the other screen, you see the numbers match, the numbers evened out. They still maintain this.
Yeah.
So in 2024, keep an eye on Jomoro.
Okay.
It's going to be a very interesting battle. Don't forget, this was the seat where the MP, Afro, the lady, was taken to court over citizenship. So there's a major issue there over
one of the hotspots.
Yes. So if you are asking where to look for presidential and parliamentary, I'll come here. When we go to the parliamentary, I'll give you more details of this. So this one is pretty simple to see. They were traditional CPP seats. It split. NDC took over, but Freddie Blaze movement to MPP. So Freddie Blaze's importance to MPP is breaking the myth that all Nzima and Nkrumah people are anti-UP.
Okay.
So Freddie Blaze becomes important to the NPP, former chairman. Somehow, Amakofibua becomes important to NDC because he's holding up that incursion.
Yeah. Okay. I have to take a quick break.
No problem.
When I come back, we'll do the third one out of the Nzima triad, and then we'll look at the mining side, and then the hunters, right?
Yes.
Right. So it's the situation.
The Amenfi.
Amenfi, yes. The hunters rather this side. Yes. Okay. So it's the situation room. My name is Vivian Kai. Look, I'm here with Bernard Avila. We're looking at the Western region, the presidential. Later, we'll look at the parliamentary. Stay with us. We'll be right back with some more exciting analysis.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Channel 1 TV as we explore the real issues facing our communities. From education and healthcare to jobs and infrastructure, we shine a light on the needs of the people.
Now it's obvious that Ghanaians will look at it twice to make sure the NDC as a party will come into government 2025.
So say no dey nye obi apel yes we gina here pa se me hunu bi no se nsu na mama npa ko no wache no
anka metu aba ma Jesus ama Jesus abegboa mi.
As December 7th, 2024 approaches, it's time to empower ourselves and hold our leaders accountable. Get ready for insightful discussions, inspiring stories, and the chance to make your voice heard. Don't miss The Constituency. Tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Channel 1 TV. Your voice, your constituency, your future.
And welcome back to the Situation Room. Our focus for today's edition is the Western region. We've gone through the 4 key enclaves of the Western region leading to the voting patterns, and we're looking at why we see that. We've looked at the Takoradi side, and of course I'm here with Bernard Avle. We've looked at the Takoradi side, moving to the Nzema side, and then we'll move to 2 other enclaves that we've put together in terms of demarcation. Bernard, we're the Nzema side, 3 of them.
So as we said, since 2016, MPP has taken Jomoro, but when you pick them as just 3, all right. So in 2012, Mahama had 71,000, Akufo-Addo had 48,000 of the 3, so 57-38, all right. So a win margin of over 23,000 votes, all right. Now when you come to 2016, where NPP did very well and won 1 seat, it was very close, but still NDC won. So when you put the 2 together, 48%, 47%, all right. So now the reason I feel like NDC is trying to claw back is when you take 2020. So this is a very small margin, less than a percentage, all right. Now when you come to 2020, it's the same shape here, but it's 5%. Mahama now takes a 5% lead on Akufo-Addo, all right. So they are not yet back at 2012 yet. So you can say that the 8 in the Takoradi enclave are for MPP, but these 3, NDC wins them.
Okay.
By the way, let's look at the vote margin for these 8. Okay, let's just look at the vote margin for these 8. So I'll start with Ahanta West. I had Kwesi Mintim, I had Takoradi, I had Shama, Sekendi, Mpoho, Efia. Now look at what's going on. Let's go back to 2020 just to give you the quick number. All right. Let me just add these 2.
Last 2,
Good. 54%, 42%, 12% gap. Big margin for MPP in 2012, even though this was NDC's best year. All right. 54, 42%. All right. Now look at what happens in 2016 in terms of the gap. 175,000
against
88,000. So 64, solid. This is, you are looking Ashanti Eastern kind of thing. 64, 32.
Wow.
Just for these 8.
This is 2016.
2016.
MPP is one of their best.
Look at the gap. 175,000 to 88,000. All right. Now go to 2020 and see what you have. So there is some closing. So it's now 62 and this is 34. But still almost 70,000 voter gap. All right. Now let's make it interesting. Let's add the 3 that NDC won in the Nzema enclave to see how it changes. Okay, I'm going back to 2012. All right. So when you add just that 3 in 2012, where it was, this is just in 2012 MPP won this, right? Because look at this. In 2012, this 8, Akufo-Addo wins 54 to 42. When you add just this 3, 1, 2, 3, it closes the gap.
10,769.
Just these 3. Just these 3. Of course, in 2016, it doesn't make much of a dent because it's still 60, 39, 37. Now in 2020, when you just take this, it's 57, 39. But I think the key point is that in 2012, NDC was so strong that just this 3.
The 3 really changed, you know,
it reduced the gap by that. Now, what is our 3rd area?
So let's do the mining.
The mining. So this one, now this whole region has mining. And Menfi does have mining, but I decided to pick Takwa Nsuayem, Prestia Huni Valley, and Wasa East as what I call the mining giants. I call them the mining giants. So let's erase all these guys and then take you to the mining kingpins. So what are the mining giants? Takwa. Yes, just Takwa and Nsuayem. Right? I remember Heritage Caravan went to Takwa. It's possibly bigger than most regions. In fact, in the top 20 constituencies in Ghana, Takwa is number 11.
Wow.
In terms of size.
In terms of the size, okay.
Takwa and their brother, Prestia. Takwa and Prestia are 11 and 13. So they are massive, bigger than most constituencies in the country. These 2 together are massive. All right. Then I decide to add Wasa East. to the
mining giants.
Good.
Okay.
Now, so there are other mining communities, but these are where large-scale mining takes place.
Huge mining.
Very mix of urban and also rural. So, for example, Wasa Ikropong, they are in these areas. All right. These are very, very big mining towns. Cost of living is high. There are expatriates in these towns. So it has very urbanized mining features. All right. The way I see it is that of these two, MPP tends to take Takwa and NDC tends to take Prestia. Generally. Okay. Generally. So you may, but the truth is that whilst MPP maintains Takwa, Prestia tends to vary. For example, in 2016, MPP's Barbara Otinjesi, she became the MP.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Prestia has swing tendencies,
okay.
but Takwa does not. So let's run through. So this is 2012.
Yeah.
2016, what do we have?
Wow.
Prestia deeper, but these two still stay with
the
NDC.
Okay.
All right. 2020, what do we have? These two still stay, comes back to light. So you see the pattern we have here. Now let's look at the numbers just to make sense of this. In 2012, when you pick the three, 52% Mahama, 46 Akufo-Addo. Relatively healthy, about 6 to 7% gap.
6.34.
2016, when MPP made a roaring comeback, they actually win it.
Yeah.
So Takwa alone, which tells you what, you see, these two constituencies have the same size. But the gap here is not that big. When you add this, MPP takes over. So one blue, two greens, but Akufo-Addo takes it. All right. Then when you take 2020, what do we have? Mahama takes it back.
Mahama takes it back.
51-45. So this is part of the reason why Akufo-Addo said they suffered in the mining communities because of Galamsey.
Because of.
So he believes that this swing back.
Yeah.
Is possible. Let's just look at Prestia alone. Let's look at Prestia alone to see how it behaves, to see whether you learn anything from there. So Prestia alone, 2012 is 56-42. Right? 2016 was much closer, 49-47.
Yeah.
So Akufo-Addo in 2016 split Prestia.
Prestia, yeah.
Right? 2020 NDC makes a comeback, but not as big as it did in 2012. 58-38. Actually, that's big. Sorry, this is big. So they actually did better
19,000
than they did in 2012. So this is 56-42, and 2020 is 58. So the 2020 picture for NDC has usually been not as good as 2012, but for Prestia, no. This is actually their best.
Yeah.
And Akufo-Addo and his people think this is possibly a Galamsey issue.
Okay.
All right. And of course, when I add, let me just do some experiments. Let me just add Takwa and see how the two play out. When I just take the two together, 2012, NDC wins. 2016, MPP wins. 2020, NDC wins.
Takes it.
So then we add. Now, there's a very interesting character here called Ajay Mensah.
Okay.
He used to be the head of HR for one of the big mining companies in the Wasa area. He became a deputy minister under Mahama. I think he was a minister for roads. So the reason I say that is that in this region, strong men matter. So in MPP now, the strong guy is the deputy minister for mines. Miracle Duka,
yeah.
The strong man here is the NDC's IK. I think it's called.
That's the HR guy.
Yes, who's now? He was a deputy minister for roads.
Okay.
I think Agric at some point.
Okay.
Ajay Mensah. Okay. Don't forget, I've mentioned Ama Kofi-Boa here. Before that, Freddie Blake. This is a region where strong men matter.
The names matter.
Because people coalesce around them. So they've kept this green because of some of the work of that.
Okay.
That
what about here? Do we have a name there?
This is very, it varies. Okay. All right, because it has a lot of different areas. Okay. Galamsey, I interviewed Edem Srem, and he thinks that the biggest Galamsey in Ghana happens in these two places.
Okay.
All right, so that's why former deputy minister for mines, Barbara Otinjesi, some people think she lost because of that. But mining is a very big issue here.
Okay.
All right, so far the region is filling up nicely.
We've done 3 enclaves. So then of course.
The Nzima enclave. Just for interest's sake, if I put the Nzima and the mining together, Let's see who wins. Just for shaggy reasons. So this is the middle belt of the
region.
new western region. You see what I've done here?
Yeah.
This is the urbanized south, and this is the ruralized north. Now, so you can say this is the contentious spot, because these people go NDC generally towards western north. These people are MPP strong. So this is the middle zone.
Yeah.
This is the battleground. Okay, now see how it changes. 2012, 54, 43. A good 11% gap. This is the battleground for western region.
Yeah.
Okay. 2016, battleground closing down. Akufo-Addo wins it. Takes the, and he wins it by just winning 2 constituencies. Because he managed to make all of these light, and then he deepened it. So you notice that even though NDC gets 4, so NDC may get more parliamentary seats in this middle belt, but Akufo-Addo in 2016 took it. But guess what? Mahama makes a roaring comeback in 2020. Look at that, 51. So actually, same 51, 45, right? If you go to 2016 51, 45. So you see what I mean by it's a swing. Same gap. 5% gap for Akufo-Addo in 2016, 6% gap for Mahama.
That's right.
So if somebody wants you to analyze this region, they should look out for these guys. 2024 key battlegrounds.
Guys. Okay.
Wasa East, Prestia Huni Valley, Takwa and Siahim, Evaluate Ajomojura,
Elembele, and then
Jomoro. Should I add?
Let's see with the Takrady.
You want to see what Takrady will do to it?
I want to see what Takrady will do to
now,
the numbers.
So this is 2012, right?
Yes.
Let's see how many of the Takrady seats you need to add to this
to change
to overcome
the numbers. So this is Mahama winning. So let's see what.
Should I do 2020?
Let's do all. So let's start with 2020.
2012.
Yeah.
In 2012, MPP's best was Takrady. So when you add Takrady, still NDC is leading by 7. Then you add Ahanta West, still 5%. You add Sekendi, 50-46. You add Mpoho, 50-46. You add Kwesi-Mintin, 49-47. You add Shama, which NDC wins, 50-47.
50-47.
You add Efia, 49-48, and then you add Esikado, 48-48. So it is when you add
everything
all of them together, then it becomes. So what that means is that NDC won in 2012. You know why? Because these 3 usually go to NDC. They win 2-1. But just taking the middle belt and MPP's stronghold alone. But guess what? In 2016, this will give MPP a massive victory.
Yeah.
You see that now it's a 50-50 fight. Go to 2016 and see what happens. 57-39. It's not even close.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
A real stretch.
It's not even close. 2020, it's much closer. 2020 is much closer. 53-43. Oh. So 2020, Mahama will need these 3 to close the gap on Akufo-Addo, because just using the big 8 and the middle 6, Akufo-Addo has a comfortable 10% lead.
Over the NDC.
Even in 2020, which means that the stronghold of MPP here is very formidable.
Yeah. Do you know the numbers of the urban side standing on its own?
So in terms of voter numbers, this region's 2 biggest, as I said, are these 2. Strangely, even though this is the capital, you know, it's like Accra. There isn't a lot of room for expansion. So Ododo, Klote, Kole, the population will increase normally. But Adenta, Ashaiman, Amasaman will increase. It's the same thing. People who are moving out will go.
That's on the other
but it's different from Accra, because you could say that Mpoho and Co should have more numbers. But here, because of the economic activity in mining, it attracts a lot of migrants too. So if you go to Wasa East, for example, there are a lot of migrant workers who come in to do mining, who come in to do cocoa. So a lot of people who live here are not Wasa people.
From Wasa,
Same with Prestia, right? They could be from Volta, they could be from the north, and that changes the voting arrangement.
Okay. All right, so let's go to our final one, the Amenfi guys.
Amenfi cluster.
Amenfi cluster, how many are they, 3 or 4?
There are 3. So there's Amenfi East, No, Amenfi West, Amenfi Central, and then they call it Wassa Amenfi. Because this, don't forget this is Wassa East.
Yeah.
All right. So let me, what should I even do? Let me clear these guys.
So that we can see them standing on their own.
Yeah. So you want to see, let me go to 2012 and see what happens. Good. So you're talking the 3 Amenfis, right?
Yeah, let me clear this.
Okay.
Oh, no.
What have you done?
I wanted to clear.
You're worsening my situation. Wait.
You're
okay.
good now, yeah.
Amenfi West. 61-37. Strong. So even with Amenfi, it's not monolithic.
Okay.
Amenfi West seems to be where NDC does well.
Yeah.
Now, Wassa Amenfi East is where MPP does well.
Okay, so 1-1.
And now, this particular parliament problem that we are having, one of them is
Central.
this person.
Yeah.
So this should tell you what you need to know. NDC 60, MPP between 50 and 60.
And the middle club.
See how it works.
Yeah.
So this Amenfi Central, what is going on with Joanna Jan, the current MP? It is a major fault line between the two parties.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now look at these 3 together. By the way, when you put the 3 together, it's an easy 13% victory for NDC. Right? In 2016, though, it's just 3%.
3%, yeah.
So even though you can say it trends NDC, of course, 2016 is an unbelievable year for Akufo-Addo. I don't know if any party can do the kind of thing he did, where a sitting president is defeated by 1 million votes by an opposition.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. Yeah. It was like the whole nation just
turned.
It's a massive thing. 2020, see what you got for the 3.
Wow.
NDC goes,
really,
clears
really,
all.
Yeah.
Clears
13%.
all. Clears all the 3. So 2020, which was not even as good as their 2012, they cleared all the 3. All right, so this is 55-42. Let's go to 2012 and see what they got. 56-42. So back to 2012 level. Just that they won here as well. So this is 2020. Okay. Now, if you take these 3 together, you now notice that there's a certain continuity here. This one. Because this is Wassa Amenfi. And then this is Wassa East. Yeah. They tend to be, but these 2 tend to vary. So let me just take these and run through the 3 electoral cycles to show you something. 2012, NDC, NDC, MPP, NDC. 2016, MPP still takes this. But look at what happened. 2020, NDC takes all 4. So you can call them the Wassa Amenfi group. You can use that description as well, which tends to influence
Christian.
So again, you can say, let's pick the top 5. All right, so you can decide, so there are 2, you can say, let's take the region down, up. Yeah. Let's take the 5 uppermost constituencies in the region. I've added 2 of the mining to this 3 to make it a beautiful picture. MPP won Wassa Amenfi East. All right, but NDC takes
all the others.
So generally in Western region, the closer you attack, the better MPP does.
And then up,
further we move. Just for shaky, let's look at the numbers.
Yeah.
When you take these 5, 2012 Mahama, look at that, 14% gap, not even close. Right? 2016, Mahama wins it, but it's just 3%. 3%. All right, and then 2020, he will obviously open the gap back to 14. Yeah. So you see what's going on. Yeah. We are seeing the cycles.
Oh,
now,
that's interesting.
There are so many things. In fact, if you even want to stretch this, you can say if you add, go back to 2012, I'll show you something. Add Shama. No, sorry. Add Shama. See where I'm going with this? Yeah. So, outside NDC, inside MPP. Because, of course, Shama fell to MPP in 2016 and they kept in 2020. But 2012 gives you a picture of where NDC could say that they do well. So, but let me remove Shama. Okay. Let me remove this. So this is the 3 we're looking at.
All right, let me take another quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up. This is the Situation Room. My name is Vivian Kai, local here with Bernard Avila. We're looking at the Western region, the presidential patterns and trends. We'll be right back.
national discourse where every question demands an answer, one show stands out: Face to Face. Face to Face cuts through the noise and goes straight to the heart of the matter as your host confronts personalities in politics, governance, society, and business on the topical issues facing the country.
If you said to me that you made £1 million out of scraps in the United Kingdom at age 19, that would raise eyebrows, and I ought to ask you how you made it.
Umaru, first of all, if anybody wants to find out how I acquired my wealth before even 21, it's on the internet. You know, I have built hotels. I've done all of that. It's all there. It's bringing me income. It's yielding. I'm creating employment.
You introduced free SHS in 2017, and for 7 years, you are still having the same problem.
No,
it means you have
that's
not
false.
That's very accurate.
No, that's false.
Schools still have challenges with boarding house, dining hall,
Umaru,
classrooms.
I like context.
Yes.
I like debate, but I like factual debate.
Yes.
It's false. And I'll tell you what. Dr. Bawumia has humbly acknowledged what our challenges or our shortfalls have been as a government. He has outlined what the successes have also been. And he is giving cogent, clear vision points for each of the sectors.
It's the worst, government we've ever had to combat corruption.
Join Umaru Sanda Amadou every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Face to Face as he explores the issues that shape our nation. Only on Channel 1 TV.
It is Election Bureau. Welcome back to the Situation Room, where we're looking at key regions as the elections approach. Today, our focus is on the Western region, which we beautifully demarcated, Bernard, into 4. And I like that because prior to the demarcation you did, I looked at it differently. The demarcation has brought out the issues, why we see the trends, based on the people. And I like the element of the personalities you brought in, which is very interesting.
It's very key.
Growing up, the Kufuor era, the Rawlings era, there were these big names and quite a lot coming from the Western.
Because our politics is built around strong personalities. And there are local champions who are actually champions.
Yes, yes. So I like how you brought that up. And then I like you bringing in the mining part and, of course, the Nkrumah tradition part and all that.
I wanted to show you something.
Please do.
You notice that when I did the various, there's something I haven't done. I will show you everything else without the 3 in Zima.
Okay, why do you want to take them?
I just want to just show you, because don't forget, we have Ahantes, we have Wassa, we have Seshi people up at Menfi, and then we have Nzima. So let's assume, let's do this without the Nzimas. Okay, so let me start with, what am I doing? So Amenfi West, Amenfi East, Amenfi Central, NDC. Okay. Wassa East, NDC. Then you add your mining big boys. All right.
3.
Then you add your Takrade enclave. I want to see if, without the Nzimas, what will happen.
Like. Okay.
Yes, so like I did for the first one. So now I'm just picking the, just a minute. I'm just picking the, good. Now this is what I've done. This is the region without the traditional CPP seats.
Yeah, CPP.
In 2012, it's a dead heat.
Yeah.
So NDC needs the Nkrumah seats in 2012. Otherwise, NPP would have won. So NPP's strength in their 8 is enough in 2012 to counter the others. NDC would need these 3. 2016 is going to be a bigger slaughter.
Yeah.
Look at that. 2016, 57-40.
Wow.
Without the Nkrumah 3.
Yeah.
And then 2020, without the Nkrumah 3, it's a 7% gap.
7% gap.
So these three are very important.
Explains the power of Kofi Boah.
I'm telling you, Kofi Boah.
To even have a position in, the leadership.
Look, and this is the same. Look, you go to Ahafo, Collins Dauda, and then the spokesperson for Agric. What's his name?
My name just escaped.
Yes, he's a cocoa guy. So there are strong personalities who entrench a party because they are trusted, and they help other.
Bring the numbers and show
Yes.
up the figures. Yeah.
So that's why I mentioned. So Mrekuduka, Baumia named Mrekuduka as his consultant on mining.
Mining, yeah.
Don't downplay
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Very, very powerful.
And mining is key.
And
in
Takwa
this
is the biggest.
Yeah.
Okay, NDC's Wasa East success has been because of the Ajay saga. There are all kinds of posts scattered.
Yeah.
When we go to parliamentary, I'll show you some of the nuances which could affect the parliamentary race, but presidential may not necessarily change. Okay. So let's see what changes. How does let's go back to 2012. Let's add Evaluate 49-49.
Wow.
Akufo-Addo leads slightly.
Yeah.
Add Elembele
It's going
before NDC
NDC
takes,
takes,
and then you
of
add
course.
Jomoro.
And then that's
Now, let me remove these three and go to 2016. After 2016, it's a massacre. You add this, it's just 57-40. You add this, 56-41. It doesn't change much, okay? Now, go to 2020, the most recent election. 52-45. Add Evalojira, 51-45. Add Elembele, 51-46. Add this, 50-46. So this is what we have. The last thing I wanted to do, you notice that in 2012, there's one blue here. And this is a deep green here. I have this theory that border of constituencies that border other regions, they exhibit the characteristics of two different regions. It's a theory I've improved.
You keep saying it, but there's no evidence to that.
I'll prove it to you. Let me add the region that borders. Okay, I think I've proved the first one. If I add Western North, I've proved the first one. If I add Western North to this, okay, Vivian, why is this gentleman deep green? Because everybody here is deep green.
It's green.
So I've proved the theory.
Let me see. Okay,
I've proved the theory. Okay, now I'm going to say that if I take Western North and I add Central, then the guy next to this guy will be blue.
Okay, let's see.
If it's blue, you give me an offering.
Let's see whether this thing is what it is.
Okay, so now let me remove this. Let me add Central. Okay, to test the Alosky theory of regional. What's the theory called? Regional continuity. Now, if my theory is correct,
let's see.
Press this top. See. Press the top.
That's how you get. Hey. Oh, you have it. So your theory is. Let me see something before I clap for you yet. Wow.
You see, people don't live with regional lines.
Yeah, that's true.
Regions are created for administrative management. Somebody can be eating breakfast here and go for lunch here and go to church in the next one. So if you want to understand why certain constituencies behave in certain ways, and don't forget when you took these three, NDC, MPP, middle ground, because this place, Ayamfuri is here, Jentraboasi is here. So this part of Central region has Western Ashanti behavior.
Yeah.
You can't compare this to Cape Coast.
No, at all.
Even though Cape Coast is the capital, this behaves like people. So in fact, when you drive here, they don't know a Cape Coast. No. They are thinking about Takwa.
That's true.
So the theory has been proved. The other thing you need to know is look at another one. Shama, right? Who is the neighbor to Shama? Commander. Commander is one of NDC's best. You see what I'm doing? So see what I'm doing to you. So this is 2012. The deep greens spill over. So Commander helps Shama. Because they are both fishing. So somebody Commander and Shama, they don't know they are both the same.
Both, and they run among the same.
So that theory is proved strongly here. Let's look at Wasa East neighbor, Heman Lewa Denchra.
Blue.
This is the only exception.
Blue. Yes. I was just about to remove the money for you.
Yeah, but it's very clear, right? Let's go back to this. I mean, I think I've proved this I've proved this beyond reasonable doubt.
Let me see.
Look, this is Western region without Central. Okay. We noticed that, don't forget that when we took the Takrady 8, this was the only green.
Yeah.
In 2012. And I say that the reason is the only green is that this person influences it.
You believe this is
and this is the only blue of the three because of these two. The theory is proven. There's no issue here. There's no issue here to prove. There's no issue here to prove.
Okay.
But by the way, let's just look at it. So this is Trifo Atimokwa, which is also NDC in 2012. Let's see how this changes in 2016.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way, when you put all of this together, NDC still wins in 2012. In 2016, MPP wins it. Because these deep blues maintain this blue. Yeah. So even though Commander is NDC, 2016 is not a normal election. All right. This is very interesting. Chifo actually becomes MPP in 2016, but go to 2020, NDC takes it back.
Yeah.
So you see that the 2020 picture, MPP maintains their hold in the northern part of Central, but NDC takes back this. Chifo is much deep greener. Everybody else is green, but Shama has remained with MPP.
That's right.
So those nuances. So you can say MPP has taken the two extremes of the southern western region. They've taken Jomoro and taken Shama. They've managed to do that to help the Takoradi picture. And when you put the two pictures together, NPP still slightly edges it.
Yeah.
All right, unless you add this, which still gives them the advantage.
The higher, whatever. Yeah. So this is 2020.
So this is 2020 Western region plus relevant portions of Central. Relevant portions of Central.
What's the name of your theory again?
It's called the Arlovsky theory.
The Arlovsky theory of continuity.
Of continuity.
Showing that it is what? Okay, we have just some 2 minutes to go.
So what have we learned? I don't know. Let's go back to the region and wrap this up. So let's remove Central. So Vivian, I think we have 4 blocks.
Yeah.
We also have 2 halves.
Yes.
So the 4 blocks are this, and that.
And then
we also have 2 halves.
Yes, and then the middle battleground.
Then we have the middle battleground. So for what to watch in this election, watch this. Just give me a minute. I wanted to remove all these guys. Where to keep your eye on for this?
Your hot spots for the region in terms of
presidential. Let your eye be here.
Okay. So these 6 constituencies.
For presidential, although there are a few other nuances. So this is the middle of the region, the transition between MPP and NDC. This is the lesson for the day.
All right. Thank you very much. Exciting exciting analysis.
You don't want to believe my theory.
No, I'll give you money for your theory. I think you have proved yourself right. It is the Situation Room. My name is Vivian Kailoko, here with Bernard Avler. We looked at the presidential in terms of the Western region and some very interesting analysis there. Next week when we come back, or tomorrow actually when we come back, we'll look at the parliamentary elections. We'll look at the voting patterns, the hot spots for that region as well. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.